Hello everyone, and welcome to Crusader Kings 3 Khans of the Steppe, the first DLC for Chapter 4, focusing on the Mongols and their growing empire with a particular note for Genghis Khan. I was lucky enough to be given early access by Paradox, and so I thought, much like I did with Roads to Power and showing how to become a great conqueror, this time I would show you the best path I have found to become the greatest of all Khans, starting as a small Babino in the middle of nowhere. So let's take our first look at the Great Steppe, look at some of the mechanics, and look how we can be the best we can be. New game. There are two new bookmarks to play with. In 1178 you can go with the Endless Sky. There's the old Temujin himself, but I figured we're going to start in 1066 at the gates with these very large empires with the potential to be broken down. Well, it's good to see the Cumans haven't got too powerful in this start date. Oh. For choosing where we're going to play as, it might be good to go to the government map mode and see that there are two new types of government, the nomadics and the herders. We're probably not going to want to be so close to either of the great ones, so I'm thinking of starting up here in the north. Hopefully Konda will be a nice place to live. Let's just quickly create our ruler. I'm not looking to do anything too crazy, but I would like to be known as a Mongolian, with all of the new changes towards culture. Wait a second, you can be called Karl? Is that a traditional Mongol name? Well, don't mind me if I just change this over here, and I think that should do it. Nothing too crazy, haven't gone too hard on any of the stats, traits or anything, just a solid starting character. Okay, let's begin. What a trendy hat. In this DLC, the Great Steppe is a crisis that we're all going to have to deal with forever. Playing as a nomad in the Great Steppe is not going to be without its challenges though, similar to with Iberia where there was the Iberian struggle, and playing in Persia with the Iranian intermezzo, playing as a nomadic character in the Great Steppe is also going to come with its challenges. Each of our counties will have fertility to balance, seasons will come and go, and we may have to migrate. Trying to do that is going to be pretty important with things like herder realms, who have wonderful little sheep friends. Hi! When we right click on them, we can demand their pasture land, which is going to be pretty important, because their land is very good. But before we go any further, let's take a look at the decision we're going to have to deal with: become the greatest of all Khans. In order to call the clans and proclaim that the world is ours, well, this is quite a bit of a situation. A great war of defiance will begin, where we basically have to fight every ruler, and in doing so, we can start the Mongol invasion. The rewards in here are numerous. I mean, legend seeds, choosing your own name, your dynasty being able to have 1,000 vassals. In order to achieve it though, here are the main things we're going to have to do. The key points are being exalted among men, having an empire rank title, owning 50 or more tiles or having 100 through tributaries, and finally having unrestricted dominance. This DLC is of course not without its new mechanics. We start as unruly nomads, and by building up our herd, which is I guess the new currency similar to influence, you're going to have to build yourself all the way up through the different ranks to absolute unrestricted. This will require owning 75,000 herd though, and we currently only have 600, so it seems we have a long way to go. The sounds of the cows. The first thing we should start by doing, before we've even hit on pause, is going to our little yurt, and building a marketplace, which is something we should be able to do if we border a non-nomadic realm. Gold is pretty sparse in this region of the world, so anything we can get, we're going to take. Additionally, we should find all the herder realms around us, so these three right here, and demand them to become our tributes. This means we've gone from 2 tiles to 5, despite not actually owning any territory. They're kind of like pseudo-vassals. Okay, I guess now we can really get going. Holy moly, this woman's a genius. Yes, I think I will marry her. With a quick seduction scheme, that could be some very good children. This guy has 93 horse riders, and we have 400. I don't understand how that's not free real estate. Let's take him down. I wonder if we're going to win. There we go, a little bit more land, and oh my goodness, it comes with sheep. Without really reviewing the DLC too much, I mean, just from the initial looks at the world map, the changes to the small things are really enjoyable. I mean, down here, there are just horses running around in the open county. Even down here, I can see a single horse looking like it's grazing. And yeah, it really builds up the vibe, the ambience, the sounds. They've done very good on that. Oh, another little herderland with a sheep friend. Welcome to the tributary system. Every time you see a sheep, you should really bring the sheep under your du jour. After deciding to go on a hunt, I can't get over what this guy looks like. No shot did anybody ever look like this. But hey, maybe I get to be called the Wolf Slayer. Oh yes, that's a name I can get used to. And even the hunt was a success. Wow, this is going pretty well. Because hunts cost herd instead of coin, they are literally the only thing that costs herd instead of coin, I'd say it's worth to just notify when you can do them, because they're so good. I mean, hunts are really specifically designed for the nomadic lifestyle. Hello friend, would you like to become my tributary in my ever-growing list of tributaries? On the northern side of the Siberian border, I've noticed that there's this one particular guy, he's a little OPM, who has 2 sheep tributaries. I'm thinking maybe we can do a sovereignty war to try and take his sheep from him, so they will become my sheep. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? Oh, we captured him instantly. Is it even worth allowing him to be captured? I'm kind of tempted to trade him off. I mean, that is herd, and herd is good, no? Having won our sovereignty war, let's see. Do we get to take all of his things? Oh yes, yes we do. After that sovereignty war, I've noticed that my fertility is absolutely in the toilet, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a migration, demanding the pasture land of some of my sheep friends, and then moving my capital where they are. It does cost prestige, but luckily by hosting all of those hunts, we do have the prestige to be able to do it. So let's head all the way up here, shall we? With that small move alone, we are now making 100 herd a month, unlike the petty amount we were making earlier. So yeah, it's pretty important to try and keep moving around as much as possible. The goal now is to just wait to get 2,500 herd, so I'm just going to do a sovereignty war until that's ready. Oh, and of course, more hunts. Always do hunts. Fur in the grass. Something darts in the brush, then far away. Wait a second, we can get 75 gold from this? I like these hunt events. I like them a lot. Not to mention, of course, that when you start getting these wolf fangs and wolf pelts, you can go over to your inventory and just destroy them for 80 gold. Now we're really packing in the money. Still waiting on 2,500. I guess it's time for another sovereignty war. All your sheep belong to us. It seems I'm now called the Mongols. I guess I'm growing in the world. And it is true, because I can increase my dominance up 1 level. This gives us more domain limits and more vassals that I can hold. Things just start to get better all across the board. The next goal is to get 10,000, which honestly shouldn't be too much of a problem. We kind of have the power base to do it if we keep moving around. You do have the option to go down here, click the migrate button, and move elsewhere. But if you play similar to how I am, you should have a strong enough power base that you really don't need to. You can just go around and find some sheep in your land, demand their land, move in, and then reverse when you need to. Speaking of which, I can now take more land. Give me your sheep. While the Drogo Mongols are doing pretty good, I mean, considering I'm 23, yeah, I'd say the size of what we've achieved is great. There is the problem that a confederation has formed. These are new to Khans of the Steppe, where very small little nations can actually band together in a kind of defensive pact. There's not too much I can do about that right now, but something I can do is try to dominate the region I'm currently in, Ala Tau. It seems there are 2 people who will try to stop me. This isn't 2 countries, that's literally just 2 people. I'm sure this should be a pretty easy conflict. By dominating the region, we can go from being a small county into an official duchy, which should give us even more options for expansion. And we caught him instantly. Didn't even need to siege down his land. Very good. There we go, we are now a duchy. And again, when you feel like your herd is dipping too low, I found a straightforward thing is just to demand pasture land and then give away your existing territory. Kind of a swapping things around gameplay, but it really does work, and then you can just come back and demand them as tributary. Honestly, that confederation is going to be bigger than the Great Liao before things are done. I guess the humans have shrunk down a bit and are moving a little bit too close into Europe. As I progress slowly down the stewardship tree, I've noted that basically all the perks have actually been given addition to the nomadic lifestyle. So Taxman gives you passive herd income, and centralization increases herd gain. This is pretty consistent all across the tree. In terms of upgrading the yurt, I have to admit, I really aren't doing too much. You see, everything costs herd, and in order to increase our dominance over in the realm screen, we're going to need herd. So it's kind of against my will to really want to do it until we've got to the next level. So still just waiting for 10,000. If you feel like it's taking too long for you to raise your herd, which it definitely feels like for me, you can spend your time raiding. Raiding has actually had an update, so with Intense you can choose what you're going after and then get some herd. But ultimately the best thing you can do is just keep demanding pasture land. The pasture land is just so powerful. Okay, get those horses home. Let's see if we can't push it to 10k. 187. Okay, so basically a month's worth. Huh, not too much, but to be fair, with 31 gold, and I didn't lose anything, I wouldn't say it was a waste of time either. Oh my, in fact it got us right over the line. And so we go from a minor pop on limited dominance all the way up to high dominance, giving us more domain limit, increasing our yurt, and just generally on the way to becoming a kingdom. Going back to our original goal, to become the greatest of all Khans, one of the things we needed was to have a level of fame exalted among men, and by quite literally just doing hunts over and over again, they don't cost any gold, you can farm prestige. I am almost exalted among men. And I'm 27. Since we're now basically completely boxed in by the Confederation, I think my choice is to actually start heading west. Maybe we can work towards forming Siberia if we can't have Mongolia. Okay, off we go, all through the tribal territory. I do wonder if the majority of games are going to turn out where there are basically these giant giga-factions that aren't necessarily united, but do kind of box you in, that you just end up having to come to battle others, because there's nowhere else to expand. I rather wouldn't do that though, so I wonder, can we host a feast? Oh, I'm sorry, not a feast, but a Sa. Okay, let's try this. Just remembering that I can't even get to the next tier of herd because I haven't upgraded my yurt. So yeah, mostly focusing on the Zud shelter whenever you can, as the buffs and also its internal upgrades are really the best thing you can go for. It really seems to be so mountainous in this southern area. For a place known as the Great Steppe, I've noticed that the Confederation is in a very mountainous area. I mean, look at this pass. This is all impassable terrain and you have to move through this long corridor to access them. I kind of like it. It really builds up some very direct gameplay when you have to go through a pass. It's worth noting, of course, that because I am a duchy, when I give territory away, they're not independents or tributaries, they are actually my vassals now. So we've gone from building a kind of empire to building a real one. Since there's nothing for us to do in the east, I suppose we just have to keep pushing west. What else is there to do? And with a lovely looking Maya secured, given to my son, time to move on to the next place. On and on it goes. With a nation now as big as this, I think it's time to learn from some of our surrounding friends on exactly how we become even stronger. My land basically stretches far enough west now that I'm really thinking, how big can we get these raiders? And additionally, how much herd can we start to amount? Also, people just keep on deciding that I'm going to become their tributary. More and more people are joining. By setting ourselves to the adventure raid intent, it means that we take 0 hostile county attrition. Our soldiers are just entering Volga, Bulgaria, the actual first non-tribal place available to us. And look at this, 21 loot. Finally, some decent food. Alright, the capital of Alania, getting better. I'm very interested to see the gold count in Georgia. They've only got 4k men, which is the same as we have, but 3k of theirs is levies. I tell you what, if you can take down some Georgians, I think we'll clear out the loot and head home. If you find that you're a fan of gambling, I found that Blessings of the Endless Sky might scratch your itch. I mean, to be honest, most of the buildings inside of the Ovu could be that, because you get a 1% chance per level of your devotion to gain 5% of your herd limit. So by boosting up our herd capacity as high as possible, we could have the chance to get up to 5% chance every year to gain 5% of our herd limit. That is quite a lot if you can really boost out the capacity. Okay, it seems that my raiders have finally made it home. Only 500 herd, so probably not worth it, but that's okay. You see, just as they came home, we have unlocked the ability to dominate Ob. Ob is actually the kingdom that we're currently located inside of, so we need to become a kingdom from a duchy. In order to win this war, we're going to have to fight quite a lot of people. That's just the baseline. Luckily, we do have some allies that we can pull in, and maybe buy some mercenaries if things go south. Let's see if we can't dominate Ob. Basically, this war is about fighting off the Confederation that has been plaguing us this entire time. Oh no, it's that pass from earlier. We're going to get trapped in the pass. I guess the war target does seem to be the arcade kids, so yeah, I guess I'm going to have to fight them. Oh my goodness. Wait, really? We took his son and instantly won? I suppose my only advice when it comes to dealing with confederations then is realize who the war leader is, in this case it's this guy, and then see if you can capture his children or himself by sieging him down. No need to waste your time going through every single member of this ridiculous confederation. And thankfully, Royal Court hasn't gone anywhere. So, when we choose to see our new Khan, we are greeted with this wonderful new yurt Royal Court interior, which just looks great. My favourite part is the flag dripping down. I think I've talked about it before, but something I don't actually like in this game is the idea that flags are court artifacts, when I just feel like flags would be there anyway, exactly like this. So basically, yeah, this is great, and that's not even mentioning how cool this throne looks. So much for the Confederation, by the way. I think it's without any question who truly is the strongest power in the region. That being said, the Great Liao does still exist, and I don't know how I feel about that. You see, the thing is, we have access to something called a humiliation war, which doesn't sound very interesting on the surface, but it means that they pay us 5,000 herd. That is a ridiculous amount. It basically gets us a sixth of the way to our next target. So, I guess we're going to go straight into a humiliation war. Always make sure to trade off your prisoners. When the gold seems too low, just go straight for herd. 10 gold or 200 herd. Yeah, I think that's an easy choice. Is it really normal to have 30 prestige per month just while you're charging into another nation? What's really funny to me about all of this is I still don't have any renown. I'm an unknown obscure house. There is no way to farm renown out here, yet my prestige is just skyrocketing. Unfortunately, as much as I'm sieging things down, there are so many other factions here trying to siege them down too. There are 3 different wars going on in this region alone, and we're all battling for the same strip of land for some reason. Like, why are you sieging down my sieges? What even is that? It's kind of ridiculous that his enemies are somehow helping him. Oh, we captured him sieging down the capital. I want to say I am getting saved over and over again in these wars. Okay, I will be taking that 5,000 herd from you. Thank you very much. Sadly, our size is now so ridiculous that we have to deal with upstart rebellions. Luckily, my ridiculously low renown has eventually allowed us to get our first dynastic legacy, and of course we're going to go Steppe Lords for the 5% herd gain. It's a small bonus, but on the path to becoming the greatest of Khans with 75,000 herd, every little helps. Because you're allowed to be over domain limit without penalties, even if it's just for a little bit of time, I've decided I'm just going to be taking some holdings for as long as I can before I get a debuff, and now I'm at almost 600 herd per month, and I'm not even 40. Okay, that's good. That's basically cleared it up. Yep, that's an instant finish. To celebrate this victory, I think we should increase our dominance for the penultimate time. With this, we now have the ability, I believe, to work our way to becoming an empire. We're basically heading towards the end game now, not too many steps left. Of course, the final jump to 75,000 must be achieved before the greatest of Khans. Now making more than 400 herd a month, I think it's pretty safe to say we're going to arrive at the 75,000, so I'm probably just going to time skip until we finally reach it, because this is, as far as I'm concerned, a winning situation. Sadly, staying as just a kingdom is not going to last forever though. We do need to set our sights even higher, and that's where we need to dominate our title and really try and own all of Siberia. No time like the present, I suppose. They will fall before me. Wait, really? Just these few people? These 2 counties and 2 duchies? That's really all I'm fighting? I think they're going to lose. I guess the trick here is to make sure you've basically dominated as much of the title as possible prior to taking the decision. That way, there isn't really much of an opposition to you becoming the leader. Okay, with our unstoppable army, I guess we just siege down the 2 main counties, and that should be the war. And that is that. We can now safely say that the Mongols is an empire tier title, starting in Siberia instead of Mongolia, but I do actually own a good chunk of Mongolia too. Oh great, it's another Zud. The snows fall and all of my herd is just dipped down into nothing. Screw it, I'm just going to quickly take care of the Great Liao. They've been bothering me in this corner for too much. They have to be dealt with, sooner rather than later. Okay, just quickly hunt down their leader. I see that he's inside this army, so shouldn't be a problem. Yep, it really is that terrible in the, this isn't even late game. This is one character of 48, and we're so powerful. We can just instantly capture people and wipe them out. Welcome to the Empire. Perhaps an unintended side effect of making it so you can see where the commanders are is that when uprisings happen, the way to win them is to find their commander, but now we know where the commander is, so there's no problem. And so it has come to this. After some great patience and wider expansion, we have now gained enough herd to be able to take the 5th and final tier of dominance all the way up to unrestricted. With this comes buffs across the board, domain limit, vassal limit, but most importantly, we can now take the greatest of all Khans decision. Hopefully we get a little roar when we take it. Or howl. The final thing to do is make sure that all of our vassals are actually obedient, kind of an important thing to check. With our vassals obedient, and our unrestricted dominance, it is now possible for us to take the become the greatest of all Khans decision. But it's not so straightforward. When we do so, a great war of defiance will begin, basically putting us at war with every single person who's inside of the steppe. As you might be able to see, that is quite a few people, and unfortunately it even includes the Persian Empire. So yeah, I mean it even includes Byzantium, in case you wanted any concern. For that reason, I'm probably just going to spend some time, not too long, making sure I can vassalize and tributary as many people as possible inside of the steppe region to minimize the chances that I have to go to war with them. 50 would be the perfect age to take this decision, but unfortunately, preparation must come first. Okay. Make sure everybody becomes my tributary. We can now start sending gifts of herd because, well, we don't need it as much anymore, which is kind of useful. Since the Cumans are having some trouble with civil wars of their own, maybe I can take advantage of this to bring them under tribute, so I don't have to do it later. I'm yet to actually see any Cumans as I walk across the Cuman land to their capital, but I assume they must be over here, dealing with some other kind of conflict. Everybody is just accepting tributary status at this point. What happens if everybody becomes your tributary? Who's going to rise up to stop you? The Mongols are just taking over this entire world section. After sieging down the Cuman capital of Ital, we have managed to, luckily, take some prisoners. Most importantly, we've taken the king himself, so that should put an end to this chaos. With the Cumans gone and some gold and some prestige saved up, it does mean that we are now capable of taking the decision, become the greatest of all Khans. I'm really hoping that we aren't dealing with too many people in our great war of defiance, but the powers we can get from within may make it all worth it. Sound the drums of war. Oh, well, I'm glad that's not a ridiculous amount of enemies. Okay, who is our chief enemy? It's this guy, Kagan Blush. Huh. That's strange, considering I thought that he would be my ally in all of this. Still, if I warred him down once before, I can war him down again. It's a shame about being at war with the Persian Empire though. I could do without. Luckily, we do get the event War for the Earth and Heavens, which should give us the opportunity to ask some people to join in. I could use a little bit more help in all of this. Okay, same conflict as before, but this time we've got a few thousand more people. I have noticed that there are some enemies coming around the south side, but I'm pretending they're not there. Hopefully that should work to my advantage. I'm experiencing a very weird phenomena where my allies are actually useful. Like, I don't even know how to respond to this kind of information. Oh my goodness, I see the Cumans, but they're so fast I can't even catch up to them. That's ridiculous. Okay, once we siege down the capital, I'm going to feel a lot better about this conflict. Oh, we didn't get a single good prisoner. Now that is an issue. Okay, let's see what we can do. Okay, hold up. This is turning into a messy situation. That is what? 55,000 men? I'm not sure we have the ability to deal with 55,000 men. Maybe we can bring our army up here and avoid a massacre. It feels like they're determined to hunt me down, which is a very strange way of playing. I wonder if it's even worth coming over here and dealing with these miners so that if they want to come get me, they have to go through tons of terrain attrition. Okay, here we go. It seems like it's going well. I can't tell because of a hunt icon. But that seems like it's going okay. Alright, I think we're back in the game. I see them, the Cumans. I'm pretty sure if I take their leader, I take them all, right? I mean, that's how traditional CK3 wars work. We just need to cut them off at the pass. Damn, they got away again. When will this end? Screw it. Let's just keep going. I am determined to capture their war leader. I am simply determined. Okay, I think we have done it. Do I even want to know how many years that took me? 10 years. 10 years. Oh my goodness. Victory in the Great War of Defiance. Okay, that looks like a pretty unified Mongol Empire. With that, my Kurultai speaks for all the world. We have done it. I will have the world. This means we have new interactions, so we can offer submission or ruin, and we can have a new casus belli to basically do a full world conquest, not to mention gaining a brand new army, and the trait the greatest of Khans, which is obviously pretty ridiculously overpowered. I mean, herd capacity plus 300% is wow. Cray cray. Additionally, as I stand there at the good old age of 66, maybe I truly am the spawn of Satan, you get to choose which name you want to go with, Mongol Kagan, Tengri Kagan, but why not just go with I am Genghis Khan? I guess we're no longer going to be called the Wolf Slayer. This Chinggis Everything. We even get the achievement. With that, we have also done our first forays into Khans of the Steppe, and I have to say, it has been a pretty enjoyable experience. Not a single mechanic I have encountered I haven't enjoyed. Perhaps you will also enjoy it, if you also choose to go on the path of a Khan of the Steppe and try to become a great conqueror. But with that all being said, I will say thank you very much for watching. If you liked this sort of first look also tutorial on how to become a great Khan, then please feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all after the Great Zud. Bye.